miss the past, Blue One?
Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of IvyCraft. I am, of course, your host, IvyMan1992, and we are in for a busy episode. So I've been noticing something about my builds. Something that sticks out like a sore thumb. Maybe not right now, but what about when I go into a sort of a spectator mode? So in my last episode, I built this beautiful storehouse right here. Looks wonderful, but there's something missing. Can you tell what it is? What about from this perspective? Okay, so I have empty space everywhere. All the way around my beautiful storehouse, right? So what I've been wanting to try to do is work on a little bit of decorating. So yeah, decorating is a big thing, but I've also noticed that with my iron farm, iron golems have actually been spawning in this general area outside of the farm. So usually it does pretty well. We might get an iron golem here in a second, just to kind of prove the point. But I've noticed that this right here that I've laid out is a chunk. The iron farm is actually in 2 chunks. So that could be why my iron golem is spawning outside of it. So I would eventually like to be able to move that over, maybe align it with the chunk as well, just to see if that affects the rates, if it works better. But yeah, so the busy part of the main episode, because that might be a future project, would just be able to make the storehouse a little bit nicer. So maybe we can add a little bit more decoration and landscaping, yeah? But before we do that, I want to thank you, lovely fans, so much. Regular FMM, Norakai, I Am Georgie, Gennady, Soup King, Sigmaskibid, and of course, names are my game, my lovely wife. Thank you truly for all of your love and support. Now how about we hop back into the episode? And maybe like, as I expand this island down here, we can actually take the road and line it up with the iron farm, or any other builds we might be able to build in the future. Of course, we got to do something about our smiley island up there. You know, I noticed there was a smiley face the other day, and I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I have a giant smiley face with looks like a top hat and 2 arms. He's just looking down at the island. He's like, hey, that looks nice. So, we might have to do something with that eventually. But yeah, roads like these are important for any kind of build. They, of course, allow you to travel, but they help piece it together, right? So I want a little bit more uniform when it comes to builds down here. And that's why it's important to decorate. You know, you can really tie builds together and add to the overall theme. I also happen to got 2 parrots, so yeah, pretty excited about this. This is my little birdie bird. I think I got the green one first, but I like how they're just kind of watching me as like, what are you doing? But I keep them in here because I got cats that run around, like that cat over there, and I don't want them to hurt my birdies, you know? And one thing that I really wanted to focus on with this series was improving my skills as a builder. And not just as a builder, but really just doing things that I normally wouldn't do, right? So you often see Minecraft videos where people are doing really big, fantastic builds, and they're absolutely amazing in their own right, for sure. Same thing with like redstone, right? Oh, see, the iron golem did spawn out. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to move the iron farm after all. But you know what? It's like, I'm not that type of person that's gonna build all these super fantastic things, although I could if I had enough time, but that takes a big amount of time from a dude that works full time also, you know? But if IvyCraft is going to be my forever world, I want it to look nice, and I want to try things that I normally don't try, right? So, you obviously don't have mountains, you don't have hills in OneBlock, you have to actually build them and make them look pretty nice. So, yeah, that's the challenge. Working with a void, making something look pretty, right? But here's the lesson that I really want to teach you guys is like, it's your world, and you don't have to be afraid to change things, to go at a smaller pace, just to do the things that you love to do and explore. So you can see that I'm tearing up a lot of this because a lot of this is going to be switched out and make it more garden-like. Hey buddy, how you doing? Do you like it so far? He totally ignored me. Way to go, dude. But anyway, so I want you guys to feel free to be able to manipulate your own world in a way that makes it look nice to you. And don't be afraid to try different things, even if it's not popular or not as exciting, right? So I think I gotta grab my dirt, and I have a bunch of dirt right here. Wonder how much grass I got. Okay, I got 2 stacks of grass, so we might be able to work with something like this, but I need stone as well. Okay, so one of the first things I want to do is I dropped stone a couple levels down so we can see underneath my island now. And I don't want to lose my grass and dirt blocks right now. Obviously I haven't been to the Nether yet, and if you can go and get you a piglin trading farm, you can get an infinite supply of dirt pretty well. Just make you some coarse dirt and path block it, and you can just go that way, right? So until I do that, I want to make it to where I'm not going to lose my precious items, right? So what I'm thinking is as we place the dirt around, although I could have done slabs, that probably would have been a little bit more resource saving, but you know what? You learn. We're going to go ahead and place some grass here and just see what it would look like. Maybe I would like it, or I might have to raise it up. Okay, so that's a small patch laid down. I'm not sure how I feel about it at the moment because I got my path that dips down, this part raises up, but I can always race this too. Well, yeah, I don't quite like that. So trying something else, I think what we're going to do is we're going to drop it 1 layer, but let's add some slabs all the way around and see if it adds kind of a more finished look to it, and maybe it doesn't stand out of place as much. Alright, so we have something that I'm really excited about, okay? So, we did decide to go the grass 1 lower, and I had tried this with like stone brick stairs all the way around, thinking it would match the road and stuff, but it didn't quite look right. However, with the lighter brown of the slabs mixed with the spruce logs all the way around, I think that it makes a really nice subtle earthy look, you know? I like it. Alright, so this is what's going to be our garden, and it's going to surround our little storehouse here. So, now, I don't think I have enough of the grass, so we might have to play around with the design a little bit, but at least we have something that we can work with. So the plan next is to make this look a little bit less empty, right? So all we have is just a basic flat world as if it was creative. And we want to change that. So I had spent a few hours actually gathering some resources, which is why the video is coming out a little bit later. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, especially in OneBlock, to get what you need. But we can see that I've collected a wide variety of leaves. I also have a large amount of, stripped birch logs, which is actually becoming one of my favorite logs. I used to like jungle pretty well. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be working with it, and we're going to be making a custom tree. Organic builds is not really something that I've done too often. I did a little bit in my last Let's Play, but not a lot, right? So, the whole point of this series is to teach you guys, you know, some useful things for your own world, but to make it live and to expand on your creativity, right? So, what are some things that you would like to do in your world that you haven't done before for one reason or another, and just kind of go out of the comfort zone? For me, organic builds is definitely something out of the comfort zone, and I'm not the best at decorating, but we're going to improve that this episode, hopefully. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually see how we can make like a little fence area to house the tree. It's going to be a willow tree, and see how we can blend it into our storehouse to make it more cohesive. And of course we're going to be experimenting, so this may not be the correct way to do it, but it's how I can kind of put my head around it anyway. When we're looking at the storehouse, we do see several of the stripped blocks of birch, and that's what the willow is going to be mostly used on, so we don't have to use a lot of that to tie this build in. But what I do see is I see the bricks, I see the iron, and I see the torches. So maybe when we come around to do our fences, we can incorporate some of them. Okay, so starting out, we just dragged our cobblestone wall over, and in the center we placed our birch log to create a little bit more of a diversity. Next step, I'm thinking, if I want to make it look more of a decorative feel and like it belongs, is to add the iron gates. This doesn't look too bad right now, but I want to see what it looks like after the iron gates go on. Okay, so the wall pops up and it does make it look like it's more of a conjoined thing. So let's try that. Okay, so I put the iron gates in, and I'm thinking it's just too much gray. Right now everything blends in pretty well, so I wonder if there's something that we can do to just break it up while still making it blend in with the storehouse, right? So we might have to use, let's say, for example, the stairs. I wonder how the stairs would look in between here. Okay, so adding just a little bit of stairs helps. I do like that. And it makes it look like it belongs a little bit better. Okay, so we can work with that. Alright, so I played around with it for a little bit, but I think I finally settled on a design I like. So, we have the birch that'll actually come up. This ties it really well into the storehouse. We decided to use the smooth slabs that we used for the roof. Over here is kind of like a topper to a fence or a gate as we go along. And in the center, to break up the kind of the straight bar all the way across, we decided to use this little decoration piece, right? So, gives us a little peephole, we can look into the little garden, but it makes it stand out pretty well, kind of like that iron golem walking by, right? So if he wasn't here, which he should be over there, it would just make it seem a little bit out of place, but that one little detail, like the iron golem, I think makes a big difference when it comes to how an overall decoration looks. And it makes it stand out as something unique. From a distance, it actually does look like it's part of the storehouse build, which is really nice. It's a continuation of it, right? So it doesn't feel out of place. And I bet you that would look pretty nice if we bring it around and maybe have like an opening or a gate here. I like that. It makes it look more complete. Very good, very good. Alright, I'm sorry, buddy, but you gotta go. I can't build with you around here. So, yeah. Say hi to the villagers for me. Oh, he just disappeared. Where'd he go? I think he fell down. That was random. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and build the front here and get the overall gate, and then we can work on our willow tree. Alright, so it took a little bit, but I finally came up with an entrance design that I'm happy with. So, we just continued the same thing with the iron gates. We added slabs, but we made more of a kind of an ornate entrance, right? So, the idea was I took the stairs that we had in the side of the gates, and I thought, well, what if we use them to open up an entrance, right, into a like an oval gate light thing? And that's what we decided to go with. Originally, I had it taller, but I realized if it was so tall, we wouldn't be able to see the tree from this direction, right? So as we're walking by, we want to be able to look in and see our willow tree, especially if it's going up here. And that would be blocked if we had the top part of the gate. It's the same way as we're walking along the road. We can see it through here, we can see it through the entrance. And the important thing with the gate is we don't want to block the view of the trees. So when we're working on the willow, we want to be able to see it as we walk by and a little bit from a distance as well. So that leaves the actual tree. Okay, so to start with here for our willow tree, I didn't want it to be perfectly in the center, especially because everything else looks kind of perfect as it is if somebody were to build it. That was a lot of lag. But anyway, so I kind of off-centered it, and I made 2 stumps as my starter. So what I'm thinking of, maybe this is kind of an older willow, and it has some, branches that come off, right? So place another stump here, a little bit of stair there, We could do another stair here. Maybe over here we have some slabs that come out. We'll get rid of this one. And this is really just me, you know, testing it as an experiment. Can we make it look nice with what we got, right? So maybe we have a route that extends out here. So maybe we can have a little bit of a moss carpet thing going on to make it look like it fits in the environment a little bit more blended. We have some moss blocks. So what if there was just a big moss block here and it's hiding a lot of the root system, so we can say that it's gone under and here, and one more carpet there. I think that looks okay for the base of our tree. Maybe we'll have another root, right here. Maybe another moss block. A moss block here. Okay. I'm okay with this. This looks okay to me right now. So, we're just gonna work with it, right? So we can always change it later. From the top, it kind of looks like an old tree that has just been around in a forest for a while. Okay, so now that we have the moss-covered stump, I'm thinking that we want to do is build the base of the tree. Now we want to build it away from the building, sort of. But with most willows, you almost got like a straight stem. So we're going to just go up a couple blocks here. So we're almost to the top height. And then from here, maybe it'll start leaning a little bit this way. Oops. Wrong one. Yeah, so maybe it'll lean a little bit this way, and then we're going to curve up just a little bit. Boy, mobile edition. Look at that. I'm placing blocks everywhere. Oh, man. Okay. This is going to be a challenge for sure, but we'll take care of these blocks eventually. Okay, so I'm thinking that it's going to lean over just a wee bit like this. And we'll just say that it comes out one more over and up. So this should get our diagonal lean. Let's take a look at it in spectator mode just to make sure. Okay, yeah, so we can see that our willow tree actually just comes up and just slightly leans over in an arc. So that's the look that we are going for anyway. So the next thing we want to do is just to connect some branches, right? So as far as other branches go, if we have our lean this way, we can build the branches off the side of this. So we can say, let's go out 1 here, 2, up, and over. So that could be like one branch. It doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe we have another branch that goes up this way, and it comes out 1 block, 2 block, and let's say we'll do another one here. So now we got like this fork that goes in that direction, and we want to make sure that the tree is okay. So I just placed this block accidentally. We're gonna go ahead and just work with it. So we'll come out 1 over this way, over here. Maybe this is a flatter branch, right? So we're gonna keep that in mind. Another block over here, 1 up. So we'll give this one a little bit more of an angle out. So it's gonna lean over. So we got 3 good branches. I'm thinking that we can work with that. So in real life, willow branches are kind of odd, right? So this is not for every tree. But from the ones that I looked at Google, they usually have a fence post that comes up, if this was in Minecraft anyway. So like real life, they have 1 branch that comes up and it just loops and it hangs down. So same way over here, it would just come up and loop and hang down, loop, hang up and come down, and then the leaves would be attached to that, and it makes it look like it's weeping or crying, right? So we're going to try to replicate that in Minecraft. So we're going to bring our branch over, maybe it comes out, and then this will hang down just a little bit on this side. Yeah, so kind of like that. So you can see that this would be where the branch would hang off and the leaves would be attached to it. And we might get some on this side as well. So we can put a little bit out here. Let's say this is a little bit of a branch here. Most of it's going to lean this way though. We have a branch that'll come out like this would be fine. Maybe this kind of does that kind of trick. But overall, it's very spider-like, right? And then you take a step back. You can do it in spectator mode. You can do it, just in survival, however you want to do it. But when you're looking at it, you kind of picture yourself. Does it look like a leafless tree of what you want to go for, right? So from a distance, I can see that this, you can use your imagination and squint a little bit, but it looks like it would be a willow tree to me. It does have kind of like those spider-like branches. If you can picture the leaves on there, that's going to be a good shape. And we can see that it's leaning over, right? Because it's a little bit older, moss grown. So I like that, and I think we're going to stick with the shape. So I think for this in particular, the hardest thing would be to add the leaves. So let's go ahead and add the leaves, maybe from the bottom first. So I have spruce leaves and I have birch leaves. And we're just going to do a mixture of them. So let's say, for example, we have one leaf here. B-dubs, when he makes his trees, he usually does like a 40-60 rule. So you're going to see some air gaps in between there, and that's totally fine. It makes it more alive, right? So in real life, trees aren't that really dense. So you're going to see some of the branches. We got rid of a few here, and then we kind of drop it on the side. This is just what we can get from ground level anyway. So maybe this branch goes away, and then we replace it with a leaf. That kind of gives us a nice little droopy effect, and we can come on the top here in a moment or two and we can finish that up. But definitely what I would like to do is just kind of drop the leaves around. And this is according to your eye and preference. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. So just have fun with it. If you misplace a leaf, you can always go back in with shears later, switch it up and get different color. Whatever works for you, but we're going to follow the branches in the direction what we're going. Okay, so we have the bottom branches all situated right now. We have to fill out the tops. But when we think about a weeping willow, it's really got those big, long, droopy leaves, right? That's the characteristic of the willow. So we wanted to try to replicate that in Minecraft. And how we do it, we just extend the tips, right? We have to make sure that they fall down almost like curtains. Another way that we can do this that I think would work pretty well is if we add some vines onto the edge of some of these. So maybe, we have higher pieces here and there. So let's say that this one will have a vine and it'll grow down and droop. This one will too. And my guess is as the vine grows, you're going to get that thin patch that really hangs to the ground, right? Makes it look like it's old, developed. So we're going to give that a little bit of time to grow, but next step is to take the leaves onto the top. So if you look at this from the top, it looks pretty bare. We got the bottom leaves. The top is usually the hardest, at least for me, when it comes to trees like these, but you can see that it really does have a decent shape. So the idea that we're going to do now is we're going to just follow the pattern from the bottom up, place leaves around the top of the branches, all the way around, and just kind of fill in gaps to make it look more bushy at the top and more droopy at the bottom, right? So I will be back in just a moment to fill that in and show you the result. Okay, so I just finished placing the leaves, at least for the first run. I said I just finished placing the leaves for the first run. He doesn't listen, does he? I don't think he does. But anyway, so this will be my first look at it from the ground floor, and we can always check out Spectator and see how it looks, so hopefully it looks decent. Okay. I think I missed a little bit on this side, so I can see a lot of fence posts over there. So we can add a few here. Maybe a few to cover up these branches here. Because I want to see more leaves than I do fences. But other than that, I think it's got the shape of the weeping willow, which is pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a few leaves here and there. Okay, so looking at the willow now, I like it a lot better. So we can see we added a little bit more droop here and there in that small little time lapse. Hopefully I included a time lapse. We added more leaves on this side to make it look more full. I like it. I think it looks pretty good. Let's see, can I reach that spot? Cover up that just a little bit, and then it looks more flat on this side, so there we go. Maybe a little here. I think that looks pretty good. I like it. Let's take a look from the top. Okay, so looking up in spectator mode, I think it looks pretty well. Well, it definitely looks like a custom tree for sure. And it has that droop feel. Like just right above it. I think that fits in pretty well. It doesn't take too much away from the storehouse. Oh, hello. Well, there's a lot of animals up here. But overall, I think I'm pretty happy with it. So we can come back at it at another day, but let's go ahead and just decorate the grounds just a little bit. Ooh, hey, mossy leaves just came in. So you can see that it'll add that droop effect, right? So if we had more of these and create the droop, then it would really make the difference on this weeping willow. Okay, so I was running out of my storage building because I got more stuff for stone and things, but look at this. Oh man, just walking past this feels so nice. It doesn't feel like super empty, you know? So I think this was a good choice to be able to build this thing, this weeping willow tree here. Let's put our first stone as maybe diorite. So we can just drop a little bit in, make sure it belongs. We can put some moss in there, carpet, and a little carpet into the ground, and then a little on the back side, I'd say. Do I like that? I don't know if I like that actually. Okay, so let's take this diorite out and just put moss there and moss on the bottom. There we go, that looks better. So maybe it was like an old monument or a stone that was there at one point in time. And maybe it has some moss on the top too. There we go. Okay, I like that. Well, all in all, I like this build. The weeping willow, the little bit of decoration. We still got a little bit of ways to go, but I hope it gave you some good ideas for your own world and to try new things, right? So organic builds, I've not really done too much about them, but I'm really happy with this weeping willow and how it turned out. So I hope that you are too. I'm sorry about this video coming out a little bit later. I've been pretty busy in real life and such, but we're going to try to do better about it. And I just really appreciate you if you've stuck into the end of the video here. Please know you're a very, very special fan of mine, and I appreciate you so much. So until the next episode of IvyCraft, wherever you are, have a great night, great day, and I will see you then. Bye bye now.